Okay. Yeah. From the top then. Sorry about that. It would look like it got stuck on the loading, but no, we're ready to go now.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
From the top then.
All right. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That was a good practice run.
It got stuck on the loading, but no, we're ready to go now.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
From the top then.
All right. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That was a good practice run.
It got stuck on the loading, but no, we're ready to go now.
I think we're stuck in a loop. Thanks everyone. We're being patient with our technology. We're going to get this worked out in just a second. All right. Okay. That's okay. That was a good practice run.
Jerome, maybe do you have another tab open with the live stream? Maybe you want to mute that tab.
With our technology, yeah. We're going to get this worked out in just a second. All right. Okay. That's okay. That was a good practice run. Does that make it better? Okay, thanks everyone, and my apologies for that. No, I just wanted to start off just by welcoming everybody on board, and thanks for joining us again. This will be our fourth Tech Tuesday, and I'm here with my amazing co-host Nancy Rivas, and we're really excited this evening to talk a little bit about home learning environments. And so we were in preparation for this, we're brainstorming on different things that we wanted to talk about with our families. And so we decided that we really needed to have some folks come in who are actually parents and doing a great job in their own homes. And so I'm here with Maria Garcia and Shafana Colbert, and I'm going to pause in just a second to let Nancy translate. But some of the conversations we've had today in preparation are just completely and totally exciting. So I know that you're going to really enjoy it. But Maria's here as a counselor from the Paramount High School. Her background is in counseling, and that's where her education has been from Cal State Dominguez Hills. Also here is Shafanda Colbert. Her work is right now for instructional technology at Roosevelt School, and her educational background is from her master's is in educational technology from Concordia. But both of them are here tonight and to share with us in their role as not as amazing educators and practitioners, but as parents. And so I'm going to let Nancy catch up a little bit with translating for that.
Esta noche vamos a estar hablando acerca de ambientes de aprendizaje, y con nosotros tenemos a dos personas muy importantes. Son padres de estudiantes que están involucrados con el aprendizaje a distancia, y una de estas personas es la señora Shafanda Colbert, que también, además de ser padre, también es empleada del distrito y es una asistente de tecnología instructiva para la escuela de Roosevelt Elementary. Y tenemos a la señora María García, que es consejera y madre también de un adolescente en Paramount High School. Y también, como las semanas pasadas, tenemos al señor Jarrell Jackson, que es el coordinador de tecnología instructiva, y yo, Nancy Rivas, especialista de tecnología instructiva.
So this evening's not going to be one to miss. It's going to be a great time. So I don't know who wants to get started first, Maria or Shafanda, but just give us some background. What's your family like? How do you go about setting up for learning in your homes?
I can start. So hi everybody, my name is Maria. So I am the mother of a 16-year-old and a 1-year-old. So I'm on the two extremes. So we have a pretty, I think, normal, whatever we can call normal these days, setup where we'll put my son in one place in his own isolated location. And then I'll be on the other side, on the other wall in another room, sort of working because I'm still working from home. So our little setup is sort of like we're all in a different compartment of the home trying to stay away. And yeah, and I wanted to show this neat monitor where I can check in on my daughter. So we're virtual in every way.
Wait a second, Maria, you didn't show us that before. That is like so cool.
La señora María García está describiendo cómo es que ella ha hecho que este distanciamiento en su casa funcione para el propósito de que su hijo esté involucrado en su aprendizaje y también ella esté involucrada con las cosas que ella tiene que atender durante su día. Además de ser una mamá de un adolescente de 16 años, también tiene el otro extremo, una hija de 1 año, y para ayudar a que ella pueda ver lo que está haciendo su hija, tiene un monitor también con ella disponible para que esté al tanto de lo que está pasando. Pero la manera de que se han separado es que en una pared, al lado de una pared está su hijo y a la otra pared está ella haciendo sus trabajos en casa para poder tener ese distanciamiento necesario en casa.
Maria, finish what you're showing, and then I'm going to jump over to Shavonda.
You mean the monitor?
Yeah.
Where she's right here. That's her blanket. She's taking a nap right now. So actually, she's not. She just saw me moving the camera. She's looking at me. So she's resting right now while we're on. And Dad, fortunately, we sort of are lucky that we have alternating schedules. So on the days I'm off, my husband is working. And most days that I'm working, my husband is off. So did I say that correctly? Yeah. So he's able to support with kids when I'm working most of the time. I mean, sometimes there's a little overlap and we sort of have to make it work. And, you know, I'm running to grab a snack or running to check in on my teenager and then coming back and we're making it work.
So, la señora García está describiendo cómo han hecho este proceso funcionar en casa. Ella ha tenido ayuda de su esposo. Ellos tienen horarios donde él quizás trabaja durante el tiempo que ella no está trabajando. Entonces, eso le ha ayudado mucho con sus 2 hijos. Y cuando no, y han hecho un horario que funciona. Entonces, sí ha tomado ese tiempo para hacer ese horario y además tiene el monitor ahí para su hija para estar viéndola todo tiempo.
Shavonda, what's your story?
My story is I'm a mother of 2 boys, a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old, and running homeschool from home. We said, like Maria, we're separated in different spaces. They attend neighboring school district, which is kind of pretty much similar to Paramount. So it helps in that I'm familiar with Paramount and I can help them with their school district. But I don't have a baby monitor yet, so that's a good. So I don't have to watch them. But I work sometimes from home, other times from site or the ROP district office, assisting other families. But like Maria as well, it works out for my husband and I because if I have to go to work, then he's monitoring the kids while they're at home doing work. So that's helpful, you know, to have that support. But you know, it's still different when mom is home and available versus dad. No offense to any fathers out there, but it's different.
La señora Colbert está describiendo su experiencia. Ella tiene 2 niños en casa, uno de edad elemental y otro de edad intermedia. y ella a veces le toca ir al trabajo, entonces ella está afortunada de que su esposo está allá y disponible para ayudarle durante esos días que ella tiene que venir al trabajo. A veces él está en casa para cuidar los niños, ya que ella se va, pero cuando ella está en casa, ella tiene que también averiguar qué es lo que tiene que hacer para que sus horarios trabajen, aunque todos están en casa. Entonces sí han hecho unos cambios para que funcione.
So I wanted to kind of go back to something that Maria said, and we talked about this earlier. But what is the ticket? What is the thing that you guys do to help minimize distraction? And you said you separate them in different parts of the house, but address maybe the issue of parents who may not have the ability to do that.
Y la pregunta es, ¿qué es lo que hacen en casa para que no hayan tantas distracciones? Y para los papás que no tienen esas ayudas, ¿qué es lo que pueden hacer para minimizar esas distracciones en casa?
So Nancy, if you'd like, I can translate my response after.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
So honestly, Darrell, I don't know if there's a right answer or one way that parents can all minimize distractions. I think we're in an era where everyone just kind of does what we can, and we're just trying to make it work. And so my son figured out early on that my 16-year-old, that if he needs to focus, I mean, I think kids his age are used to using headphones. So to listen to music. So this is perfect. He grabbed his earphones and put them on. And one day I didn't even have to tell him that. And one day I just saw that he was wearing them. So when the teacher's speaking, I don't ever hear the teachers. He's listening with his headphones, and I'm speaking, with and working from home using my computer. So we've managed to sort of stay away that way. And we can't really do anything about the hours and setting up different times because unfortunately I work at the same time that he's in school. So we sort of just try and make things work. So como estuve mencionando, las maneras que le estoy diciendo al señor Durrell es que no creo que hay una manera perfecta para decir que puedo minimizar los ruidos o distracciones. Entonces, creo que todos estamos haciendo lo que se puede y estamos haciendo lo que podemos en nuestras propias casas y nuestras familias. Así que lo que funciona para nosotros es que mi hijo ya tenía, pues ustedes saben que muchachos adolescentes ya están impuestos a poner audífonos para escuchar. Entonces ahora solo la conectan a la computadora y así escuchan a los maestros. Entonces yo ni siquiera le tuve que decir a mi hijo que hiciera eso. Él automáticamente ya supo, para enfocarme, me voy a poner esto. Él nunca me escucha a mí, yo nunca lo escucho a él. Entonces esa es la manera que nosotros estamos funcionando, porque yo trabajo la misma hora que él va a la escuela.
Jafonda, how do you weigh in on that? And what do you do with your students who, as far as the physical environment in your place?
Well, they're separated, two different rooms, but you can still hear them basically. My oldest, like Maria, put his headphones on immediately, so that helps with him. The younger one usually does not like to wear his headphones, so I do hear his class meetings and activities when I'm home, which is pretty good most of the time because I can keep him on track when the teacher's asking questions, and just to keep him focused or redirected when necessary. But overall, it's work that they're in separate areas and one has headphones on and the other one doesn't. Like everything is off, TV. If anything you hear, it'd be fans, but that's about the only thing. but overall, it works for us.
Okay.
La
Yeah.
señora Colbert está describiendo que sus hijos, para su hijo más mayor también, como María, él ha usado los audífonos y siempre usa sus audífonos, pero su hijo más pequeño no le gustan los audífonos y eso está bien, dice que ella prefiere eso porque puede escuchar lo que está pasando en la clase y si ella tiene que ayudar, también puede estar disponible para ayudarle a su hijo durante algunos momentos. Sí se han mantenido separados en cuartos separados para que no se escuche y dice que las televisiones están apagadas siempre. Si algo está encendido, quizás será el ventilador en casa, pero por la mayor parte todo está apagado.
So let's talk about this. I want to brainstorm a little bit for parents who are like maybe tuning in, who may not have enough rooms to separate all their kids in. What are some of the things that you might want to recommend or maybe suggest based on your own experience?
Y la pregunta es si alguna familia no tiene los cuartos disponibles para separarse, ¿cuáles son algunas recomendaciones que hay?
Well, for me, when distant learning began, I was trying to figure out which way to separate them, if they were in the same room or to just make that barrier. And I looked up some items on Pinterest, like DIY ways that I can create that separator. So I did. I went to the Dollar Tree and I purchased 2 of the presentation boards, the trifolds, and I actually purchased about 4, to be honest. And I kind of taped them and glued them all together to kind of make it that back wall. And it worked for a while, but because we were moving it around so much, it became not sturdy anymore, so we didn't use it. And I think it worked out for that moment, for the time. And then they have like several different ideas that you may activity or equipment that you have at your home, like curtains or things of that nature that you can separate students in. So I think Pinterest is great to just find ways to separate students if they have to be in the same area. And it's inexpensive.
Yeah, Pinterest
Cuando
is great.
comenzó el aprendizaje a distancia, la señora Colbert está describiendo cómo ella fue a las redes sociales, a Pinterest, para buscar diferentes maneras de que aunque estén en el mismo cuarto los muchachos, pueda haber una separación. Y encontró maneras de donde podía ir a comprar pedazos de cartón y a juntarlos todos para crear una pared. O también unas cortinas para poder hacer unas separaciones para los muchachos. Fue a la tienda de dólar y pudo conseguir esos materiales allí para hacer esto. Dice que en el comienzo funcionó bien, pero después como lo estaban moviendo tanto el cartón, sí, ya no funcionaba tan igual como en el comienzo, pero esas fue algunas de las recomendaciones que ella dio y las intentó.
Maria, how would you weigh in on that? If you had to give advice to families who may not have enough enough rooms to isolate their students into separated spaces.
I would think just maybe maximizing the space. I for once have had to transform our room, right? Like I've had to move things around and shift and create a corner where there wasn't space before, and maybe use that space for it with a table or a desk for one student, and then maybe the kitchen can be like an area where there's a table where there's one there. I know my son is used to coming home and dropping everything on the kitchen table and just starting to do his homework there. And I miss those days because that's what he used to do with actual books and distance learning. So I think it's just making it work, shifting things around. I've been in several meetings where we can hear people in the background, you know, a child or two run through the camera. That's normal. So it's to be expected. I think we can all just sort of make it work.
Yeah.
So, sí, él está preguntando qué podemos hacer como en casa para utilizar todo el espacio que tenemos, o lo que yo le estoy diciendo es lo que hemos hecho nosotros, es tener que realmente transformar la área que ya tenemos. So, yo tuve que mover cosas del cuarto para al lado, tener que hacer espacio en una esquina para poner una mesa, para poder trabajar. Um, Mi hijo estaba impuesto a usar la mesa de la cocina como para venir y hacer tarea. Ese puede ser otro lugar para uno de los estudiantes. Es lo que aplique a la familia y a su casa de ustedes.
So I'm kind of curious though. What do you guys recommend for to maintain like their attention span and their focus on their studies? Nancy, am I saying that right?
Yeah. So, la pregunta es, ¿cómo es que pueden ayudar o soportar a que los muchachos se enfoquen en sus estudios y que mantengan su atención en lo que están haciendo durante este tiempo de aprendizaje por distancia?
So I think the fact that the way the schedules were built, at least for the high school, I think really help students adapt. So it's not a period 1 through 6, Monday through Friday. So in a way, I know they have, for example, like periods 1 through 0 to 3, 1 to 3 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So it's 2 days, and their day ends at 1. So, and they get a few breaks in between. So I think that was built in, and it really helps them because my son at least is able to take a short break, go grab a snack or go to the restroom quickly. I took a granola bar box and I just put it on his desk because he's a teenager. He gets hungry. So, and he can't eat till 1. I don't know about all of you, but at 1, my stomach is growling already. So, it's just the way the schedule's built, I think helps with the attention span. I do have to add that my son is a teenager. He's 16, and I need to separate him and his phone. So I've kind of had to manage that with him, and we had to tell him, you know what, you need to focus on classes, finishing your work, and then your phone comes back as soon as you're done with what you have to do. And he's managed to keep it up pretty well. So lo que preguntaron es cómo podemos ayudar a mantener la atención con los estudiantes que están ahorita aprendiendo virtualmente. So lo que yo estuve discutiendo fue de que me gusta mucho el horario que tienen los estudiantes, porque de menos no están yendo a clase de lunes a viernes de 8 a 3. Entonces hicieron las clases un poquito más cortas y tienen breaks entre medio. Entonces eso les ayuda a ellos tener un poquito de tiempo para ir a tener un bocadillo, o yo pongo granola bars o algo que pueda comer mi hijo entre el horario de las clases, o si necesita salir afuera a tomar un break, puede, pero solo por unos minutos. La otra parte son los teléfonos celulares. Entonces, mi hijo es como todos los otros adolescentes. Nosotros tuvimos que en verdad ponerle reglas y separarlo de su teléfono. Así que él sabe que tiene que estar enfocado con sus clases, y ya cuando terminan las clases y él termina sus responsabilidades, ya es cuando le regresamos el teléfono, y ya es cuando él se pone a hacer lo que él quiera hacer el resto del día.
How would you weigh in on that, Chifonda? What's the thing to keep them motivated? You're
Well,
laughing.
I try to keep a regular I try to keep them on a regular routine, regular schedule. From my perspective, I set up the area for them before school. So getting them up at the same time, so they, get up as if they were going to school, get everything prepared, have breakfast for them. And then when they go into their separate spaces, they're set up. Like I have their school books, their materials, their pencils, pens already prepared, their Chromebook. They're responsible for making sure it's charged the night before, but I set it out for them. And then I just want them to be able to go into class at that point. And then during recess, I have them go to recess. My youngest one was trying to play video games throughout that time. And I noticed it wasn't good for him because he was still just sitting there. So I started making him get up and go outside, and to the point where we even got his bike fixed for him. So he's out riding his bike during that recess time just to get some outdoor time and some activity in because he's been sitting. And then not only that, I think it's just important that they get outdoors because if they're in regular school, they'll be outside during recess, during lunchtime, for PE time. And so even the students that are in after school program. I'm sorry, Nancy, am I just going too fast for you? I forgot.
No, you can keep
Slow
going.
down.
I'll translate.
Okay. I've even practiced making lunch for them. So if I'm working from home, they would just go grab their lunch bag and I won't be disturbed. So they have their granola bars, their juices, the water, all that. Even though they're home, I just think it was more important for me to make that lunch so they're just not going through the cabinets, through the refrigerator, pulling out everything. So that helps me keep them structured and it keeps them more focused on school at that time. And they have their schedules posted. And so that helps, all of that.
Wow, that's awesome, Shafanda. La señora Colbert está describiendo cómo ella ha instituido en su familia un horario y estas rutinas para sus muchachos. Entonces, en la mañana ella ayuda a preparar el lugar donde los muchachos van a estar trabajando. Si necesitan lápices o papel, ella lo saca afuera para que esté listo. Los muchachos se despiertan, después se preparan, si se tienen que bañar o comer, ella tiene eso todo preparado e incluso ella hasta prepara el almuerzo porque si acaso ella tiene que estar trabajando y los puede atender, los muchachos ya saben que va a haber un almuerzo listos para ellos, para que ellos nada más vayan y lo agarren de su cocina, para que no estén buscando por toda la refrigeradora, tiene esas cosas preparadas. Entonces eso es algo que le ha ayudado y también durante momentos de break, ella les da un receso y los muchachos salen afuera porque han estado sentados todo el día prácticamente. Entonces ellos van y juegan con su bicicleta y cuando tienen que regresar, regresan. Y entonces esa es la manera como ella ha hecho eso funcionar, teniendo esas rutinas y también un horario que ella ha puesto en la casa físicamente y ven el horario y ella lo tiene allí al tanto para que los muchachos puedan verlo.
Thank you.
So I was just kind of wondering if we might be able to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about balance. And we have, I know that you brought it up just a little bit earlier, that it's important to get out and run around, get some fresh air. And I think that's the thing that Shafanda, when you and I were talking over the summer, that really struck me. That really makes a lot of sense. But let's talk a little bit about striking a balance between study life and social life, because if we're going to go strict to the rules, our kids aren't getting out very much. They're not getting out to their friend's house as often as we think as they used to by any means. So how do you address that balance? I mean, there's that whole healthy social emotional aspect and that we find with getting some kind of balance going.
El señor Jackson está preguntando cómo es que ayudan con ese balance de recreación física y también los estudios. y ya han platicado un poquito acerca de eso, pero quiere saber más acerca de ese balance.
So at least for my son, so as a parent, I would have preferred that he gets up early in the morning, showers, eats, and gets his day going before school starts. And that was something I was really trying to push for. But my son wasn't quite having it. He was more like, Mom, why do I need to get up so early to do all this if I can do it after? And then I thought, okay, as long as you're doing both and getting your work done, why am I going to oppose it? So I had to be flexible with him. There are so many changes going on that I just had to adapt to what worked for him. So he starts off his day, he has a quick breakfast, and he joins class, he gets his work done, he eats lunch, and then he decides to work out after. And then kind of get himself going. He gets himself ready, and then he just sort of hangs out. And we personally, I mean, in our family, we're not going really outside of the family because of the rules, and we just stick maybe to grandma every here and there, but with masks and all of that. So he'll visit grandma once in a while. I think he hasn't asked me to visit grandma so much than now. I think he just wants to get out. So any kind of socialization for him is a win right now. In terms of friends, he's really it's just through social media and keeping up and staying in touch with friends. So that's sort of like how we're making it work. So para mi hijo, la manera que él está funcionando, y yo como madre, yo tenía una agenda para él. Yo dije, todos los días en la mañana, él se va a levantar si la clase empieza a las 8:30, él que se levante a las 7, que coma, que se bañe, que se arregle y que empiece su día. Pero él me cambió el plan y me dijo, pues, Mom, ¿por qué? Si yo quiero hacer ejercicio después de clase y yo quiero cambiar eso hasta después del día, no antes. Así que dije, ok, con tal de que él esté haciendo lo que tiene que hacer, que esté en sus clases y que haga lo que tenga que hacer también fuera, como hacer ejercicio, salir. Yo tuve que ser flexible con él. Entonces, y la verdad yo no vi ningún problema con eso, con que todo sea positivo y que haga todo funcionar. Así que ahorita es lo que estamos tratando de hacer. No visitamos mucho familias, pero a veces sí visita a su abuela o quiere visitar a otras personas, pero le digo, pues ahorita por la seguridad de todos tenemos que esperarnos.
What about you, Shafanda? I mean, that striking some balance between study and play and social, it's tough.
It is tough, Darrell. When it's time to disconnect, we disconnect, and I think that's important because the kids are online pretty much most of the day. So I want them to turn off the computer, to log off, and do something else other than just being on the computer. It's a hard balance because my oldest, my 12-year-old, is really into animation. So on his computer, he's, once he finishes school computer, he goes to his personal and he starts his animation. So then, it kind of, that's his thing. So I don't want to take it away from him. That's his relaxation. That's everything for him. So that's kind of hard when I say disconnect because he still is online on the computer. But the 7-year-old, he's an active one. He missed being in school, interacting with his friends, just that closeness of or having a group of people to be with. He is really missing that. So I get the question quite frequently Mom, when are we going back to school? And, and that's hard because you don't know. So on the weekends, I really try to do something with them, even sometimes in the middle of the week. Even if it's to go to the store, go grab some ice cream, we mask up and we go, just to get them out the house. And the good thing is, though, my boys are 5 years apart, so they're still playing around with each other. So they get to, wrestle around with the brothers, that whole thing. So they still have that opportunity, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last. I'll take it and embrace it as it is now. But just to take them out, and then we do go see my parents on the weekends, so they or their other grandmother, so they get to see grandma or their grandparents just for a moment, and that's important. In the beginning, they would just get in the car and we'll just drive, no destination. I'll just get them out, get some fresh air, and we go back home. So.
That sounds really familiar. Sometimes I'll just like, my son is like, Mom, where are we going? I said, I don't know. Let's just get out of here. Get out.
La señora Colbert está describiendo cómo ella sabe la importancia de desconectarse. Después del día de la escuela, ella sabe que es importante que sus muchachos estén físicamente activos y que salgan fuera de la casa para que ellos hagan algo y puedan desconectarse de sus computadoras. Y sí tiene un hijo que le gusta la animación, entonces después de trabajar duro en su computadora para la escuela, él trabaja en sus animaciones, pero ella entiende que en la computadora personal de él, pero ella entiende que eso para él es algo de recreación, aunque todavía continúa a estar en la computadora, es algo que lo relaja a él. Entonces ella lo deja que haga eso, pero su hijo más joven de 7 años, él es más físico, entonces sale afuera para que él pueda relajarse de esa manera. También algo que ayuda, que menciona, es que los muchachos todavía juegan juntos, están en una edad donde todavía están jugando juntos, entonces eso también ayuda a que ellos estén jugando. También lo que hace es que a veces si tienen que ir a la tienda, se los lleva con ellos, solo para que salgan, porque ella sabe la importancia de el poder desconectarse. También van a visitar a la abuela o van para un helado también, siempre con sus máscaras, pero hay que salir. Y ella reconoce que es importante el salir.
So there's some things I want to talk a little bit about in just a few minutes. And Nancy, I want you to share those slides in just a second. But before we change gears, though, I'd really like to talk a little bit about how we strike balance in our own lives. Maria you said that you had flip schedules with your husband, and Shafanda, you talked a little bit about your schedules, but you're all professionals. You have jobs. How do you do this? How do you work at home and your kids are also studying, and you got to be productive and you got to get things done, but they got to get things done. How do you balance all that stuff?
Y la pregunta que sigue es cómo es que ellos encuentran balance siendo profesionales y ellas tienen que trabajar también en casa. Es cómo es que encuentran ese balance con sus hijos también en casa haciendo sus estudios.
Not easy. It just reminded me of today. I was meeting with the teacher and I had my headphones on and I'm talking to the teacher, but my son was sitting across from me. He goes, Mom, shh. And so it isn't easy. It's some days you just try and go with it. And, there's better days and, it isn't forever. It's for what the moment that we're in now. But it has its days. Some days I go outside. If I'm working from home, I may work outside. We made the area for me to go and there's a desk. Or if I'm working from the site, I'll just check in on them throughout the day, making sure they're on. And it isn't easy. I mean, we're regular working parents and we want to do our job as well as making sure that we're doing our job in our homes. And, that means we're making breakfast or providing for our families, and then getting off of the calls and then making dinner and making sure, everything is flowing. Maria has a 1-year-old. So, I mean, you still try and do the same thing, our regular schedule, and just try and make a balance of it. It's, you just try.
Ella estaba platicando acerca de que ella reconoce que no es fácil y uno intenta lo más que puede para hacerlo funcionar. Hay un ejemplo que estaba compartiendo, es que hoy le tocó trabajar en casa y aunque ella tenía sus audífonos, ella no sabía que estaba hablando muy recio. Entonces a su hijo que estaba cerca de ella le dijo que sí se podía callar un poco ya que él estaba en clase. Entonces encuentra la manera mejor de hacerlo funcionar, incluso saliendo afuera, tiene un escritorio afuera donde ella puede trabajar también, pero ella hace lo más que puede para hacerlo funcionar, pero sabe y reconoce que esto es algo que estamos viviendo en este momento y sabe que se va a mejorar la situación, pero está haciendo lo que ella puede por este momento.
So, so the one thing I want to make sure to talk about is the mom guilt. So you know what I mean? So,
yes.
On the right. So I've had to, and I'm still trying to figure it out. We put in working in education. I know Darrell and Nancy, you're both educators. Shafanda, you work with our student population. So we care for students and we care for kids, and I can't let go of that. And I'm a mom too, so I'm always trying to do the best I can to help everyone. And then so if I'm not able to finish one thing, I feel like I'm not the best at organizing the lunches because I had a really busy day, that morning. I start to feel mom guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
I make lunch, and then we get it going, and then I have some kids waiting, to set up some virtual meetings with. And then, so it's sort of just back and forth and making it work and shifting your schedule. And I'm having to really organize my time and maybe block out. The district has been super resourceful with helping and giving us tools to set up like calendars and really helping us organize our time. So as a mom, I think we're just kind of making it work. My monitor for my daughter only works in the morning because I think on my worst day, because then she wakes up and then she needs me. So I sort of have to run back and then run back in, and then I'm checking on my son as I'm running by, and I'm caring for her, and then sometimes she's had to be behind me running around when I'm meeting with a student for work, for example. And I apologize, and our students are awesome. Right. They understand, and they say, "Don't worry, miss, I have a little brother too," or they'll say something, so they understand. They definitely understand. So lo que yo estaba mencionando es que es difícil para como padre o madre estar trabajando y también ayudando a los estudiantes o a nuestros hijos en casa. Entonces, si hago mucho para el trabajo, luego me siento que no estoy haciendo suficiente como mamá. O si hago más como mamá, siento que debería de haber hecho más para mi trabajo ese día. Entonces, es de encontrar el balance. El distrito nos ha proveído muchos entrenamientos y como para calendarios, para organizar nuestro tiempo y ayudar a estudiantes y ayudar a mantener ese balance. Entonces, todos los estudiantes comprenden la situación que está pasando, creo, más de lo que pensamos. Hay veces que he tenido una junta con un estudiante virtualmente, así como estamos nosotros, y mi hija está corriendo detrás de mí, y me disculpo con ellos, y ellos me dicen, oh, no se preocupe, mi hermanito es igual, no se preocupe. Ellos entienden, saben la situación, y saben que estamos tratando de hacer todo funcionar.
I think that one of the things that I had to work on is extending grace to myself. But I've seen that. I've watched students and I've watched my colleagues actually extend grace towards me too, when there's so many things that are vying for our time, and things that we have got to balance. I spend a couple days at home. I spend most of my time at work, but I spend a couple days at home, and my my wife will walk past behind me and she says, at the end of the day, she says, now I know why you're so quiet when you come home, because you spend so much time talking all day. It's true.
Joao está platicando acerca de cuánto tiempo se está disponible en el trabajo y cómo está muy ocupado en juntas en línea, y cómo a veces tiene que tomar mucho tiempo en haciendo cosas relacionadas con el trabajo, y a veces en casa su esposa ve que está involucrado en juntas y después dice, pues ahora ya entiendo por qué cuando llegas a casa estás bien silencio, no quieres hablar, porque todo el día en el trabajo te la pasas hablando, porque ya puede reconocer el trabajo que hace, ya que lo está viendo hacerlo en casa.
Darrell, that's curious that you mentioned the spouse component because I'm sure other families are going through it. My husband and I went through a transition in the beginning. He's still working on his, at his work site. So he's not working virtually. And it took some time for him to see, wait, she's here, but she's working, so she can't do certain things. and we just play tag, it's like, I'm working, you're on parent mode, I'm off right now. So we really had to adapt to that. Le estoy mencionando a Darrell que es chistoso que mencionó de su esposa, porque yo sé que nosotros tuvimos que pasar por una transición donde como mi esposo todavía trabaja en su trabajo y no virtualmente como nosotros, él le tomó un tiempo en entender, ok, ella está aquí en casa, pero está trabajando, entonces no puede hacer otras cosas. Entonces tuvimos que poner esos como un schedule, un horario. No, hoy te toca a ti y yo mañana y tú este día. Entonces es algo que yo sé que pasa en otras casas también.
So I think we've taken a little bit of time this evening to kind of paint scenarios of what we can think about and do in our homes. And before we kind of move to a different kind of information that we want to share with you, I just wanted to pause and see if there's Maria, Shafanda. There's a lot of things that we talked about in preparation for this conversation. And I just was wondering, was there anything that you would add, or anything that you would like to bring forward that we might have mentioned that I might not have remembered to bring forward in our conversation tonight?
I can't remember anything, guys, at this moment.
I think the main thing that stood out was just to make sure to remember that there's no one right way to make this work. Everyone is trying to make it work the best they can, and even us as educators, we're trying to make it work in our own home, with our own families and our teenagers and our toddlers, and if they run by, who cares? Don't worry about it. Kids sometimes panic when technology isn't working. I know we talked about tech sometimes not working, and I've learned to tell my son, like, don't worry about it. Message your teacher, keep the communication open, and don't worry about it. It's expected on all ends. So just expect the unexpected and have expectations, but be flexible with them because it won't be perfect. So, sí, lo único que queríamos finalizar era de nada más de explicar que no hay una manera que va a funcionar para todas las familias. Todos estamos tratando de hacer lo que funciona en nuestras casas y una cosa que funcione para mí no va a funcionar para alguien más. Entonces, especialmente la tecnología. La tecnología a veces funciona, a veces no. A veces los estudiantes no pueden entrar a su clase y se estresan mucho y yo le digo a mi hijo, cálmate, mándale un mensaje a tu maestro, ten la comunicación abierta y no te preocupes porque tus maestros saben lo que está pasando. Entonces, sí, planear, organizarse, pero ser flexibles cuando no funcionan las cosas.
And I think our families are doing that. Working here at the district office with tech support, our families are working hard to try and get their students on. You know, there's days that there's blackouts or glitches in computers or the batteries dies out, you know, and to see the families that we serve, we know that they're trying. And that's all that we can do is try at this time as well. Like we said, with our own families, with our own children, there's some days they're not going to be perfect. But as long as that we try it and continue to give them that, give our students, our children that opportunity to be in class from home, but give them, try as much to give them that quiet space, the supplies they need, or to communicate with teachers or counselors and whoever is in charge with them or the tech support. I think that's important because I mean, no one knows that your Chromebook may not be working that day, or you know, for some of our families, maybe sometimes the power goes out or the internet is down. We can't control certain things, but just to be understanding and patient with everyone involved is important.
La señora Colbert está mencionando que lo mejor que nosotros podemos hacer es tratar de hacerlo funcionar. Y ella reconoce que trabajando en el distrito ella ve muchas familias que vienen para que aseguren que los dispositivos estén funcionando. Entonces ella ha visto personalmente cómo es que los padres están intentando ayudarles a sus estudiantes lo más que pueden. Entonces trabajar lo más que uno puede y ayudarlos y estar ahí por ellos es lo que uno puede hacer.
Like I mentioned at the very, very beginning of this is going to be one that you won't want to miss. And so I totally want to extend my thanks to Maria and to Shafanda for sharing your life with us this evening, giving some perspective from, in my opinion, very effective strategies and approaches to study with kids, and also juggling your own professions.
Gracias a María y Shafanda para compartir su vida con nosotros y sus experiencias como papás.
And so, Nancy, I think we've just got a couple minutes, but do we want to go into and talk a little bit about those two platforms right now at just the time we have, or do you want to shelf that? We're going to be flexible.
Maybe we can shelf it, I think. That way we don't miss anything, and we could definitely revisit it next time.
Well, I tell you what, why don't you do just a really quick preview then of those two areas that we want to talk about for next time. Perfect.
I will do that. Okay, so we'll go a little bit deeper next week when we have a little bit more time, but we were going to be discussing the two video platforms that we use for distance learning here at PUSD. And those two tools are Schoology Conferences and Google Meet, and you might be familiar with one or the other, or maybe with both. So we'll talk a little bit more about what the differences are between these two platforms next week. Para la semana que viene vamos a estar platicando acerca de las dos plataformas que usamos para videoconferencias. Uno es Schoology Conferences y el otro es Google Meet. Quizás usted ya ha escuchado de alguno o quizás de los dos, y dependiendo del maestro de la escuela, los estudiantes quizás estén usando alguna de estas plataformas más que la otra. Pero para la semana que viene platicaremos más acerca de estas plataformas.
Well, and I think that takes us to the end. So Maria Garcia, Shafanda Colbert, you guys are amazing. I always knew that, but it's just really a delight to have you on board. And maybe we can think about some way we can manipulate them to come back again.
Thank you for
I'd love
having
to
me.
come back and maybe show everyone our College and Career Center website.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
Agradecemos que se juntó con nosotros María y Shafanda hoy con sus experiencias.
All right. Nancy, anything?
Yeah, maybe we can do it inside the ROP.
Well, that's right. And we should do a plug for that too. In closing, I think we want to make sure that we always remind our parents that for service and for measures you can take to address repairs and things like that for your devices, or reset passwords or anything that comes in between you and being able to access your studies and classroom activities. The ROP trailer at the district office is open from 8 o'clock to noon every day. So we're happy to give as much support as we can.
Un recordatorio: si hay problemas técnicos que los muchachos están teniendo, pueden visitar aquí en el distrito donde se ayuda a los muchachos, el cuarto de ROP, y pueden traer sus dispositivos para ayuda.
And feel free to navigate through the Paramount High School website. We tons of educators, counseling, different departments have different resources. So they're out there for parents, and we're there to help.
And Maria, I think that let's go ahead and I'll add some links to the district website so that parents can navigate directly there too. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys, I think that's it. So thank you so much. This was great. To those who are tuning in, totally appreciate you taking the time to join us. And I know you agree this is a great evening. Revisit the recording for this session and all the sessions on the Paramount Unified School District website underneath the Parent and Family tab. So with that, I think we'll call it a wrap.
Gracias por venir. Recuerden que en el sitio de internet del distrito hay una pestaña de padres y familias para encontrar toda la información que hemos platicado, no solo hoy, pero en las semanas pasadas. Gracias por juntarse con nosotros hoy.
Thank you.